us basically their name. There's a little form, and it's all at DocThompson.com.
The Morning Blaze. Midterm Countdown. Spotlight. Texas.
Joining us now from Texas, Robert Lowry. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well today. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing real well. What seat or what office are you seeking?
I'm running in the 23rd District of Texas.
For the U.S. House of Representatives?
Correct.
What is your background? Tell us about you. Tell us, education or where you've been, what you've done, your business, your family, whatever. Tell us about your background.
Okay. Well, I guess out of high school, I started off as a roughneck out of Houston. Then my cousin and I decided from there to go to college. So at this point, the last 20 years, I've been a physician practicing in San Antonio in sports medicine and hand surgery. My wife and I have been married 26 years. We've got 3 kids and live just outside of San Antonio and on 45 acres where they can go play around and shoot at things without getting in trouble.
So wait, now did you grow up in Texas?
Negative. I actually was born in just over by Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles.
So you ended up in Texas as a roughneck then?
Correct. After going out there for out of high school, I spent time back in college in California and then in George Washington for medical school, but we both decided to head back to Texas because we knew we'd have a better chance of actually living the life that we thought we were supposed to be able to live with less regulation than everywhere else, and, well, certainly in California or on either one of the coasts.
So why do you want a job like this? I mean, you're a successful doctor. You have, a good little life in Texas. You got some land, some family. Why do you want this job?
Well, somebody's got to go do it who actually wants to come home and doesn't rely on the job up there. I had about 4 or 5 years ago, a couple of the younger folks in one of the Tea Party crowds was looking at me, obviously the old guy in my 50s, was telling us, why don't business guys like you, Dr. Lowry, why don't you guys run for office? I said, well, I was thinking about doing that when my kids get out of high school, to tell you the truth. And he looks at me square in the face and points his finger right at me, and he says, well, if you wait that long, there's not going to be anything worth running for. So, well, all right, he had a point. So, I've been blessed pretty well. I can go up there and get the show on the road. I'm used to arguing with idiots and arguing with people who are coming in drug seeking and whatever. So I think I can do a pretty good job with actually getting not just the argument put up, but actually convince some people of where they're sitting isn't the right spot.
So how long, if you get elected, how long are you planning on serving?
Well, it seems that one of the first bills I want to put up is that congressmen only get to be there for 6 years. I'm going to put 6 years as the cap.
That's good. That actually brings up one of my next questions about term limits. So you favor term limits?
There you go. I think the idea was not to go up there and make a living out of it. You're supposed to come back home and live under the laws that you passed, and then that way you don't have that authority, and in itself that will diffuse that power away from the federal government.
So what has happened in the last 5 whatever years that has changed your mind about the direction of America? You grew up in a very different world. Now you look forward, to your kids' future and what they're going to see. What has happened in the last few years that have made you say, wait a minute, we are on the wrong track?
Well, obviously a whole lot has happened. We've lost the respect of our rights from our politicians, and our politicians have really become just strictly politicians and bureaucrats looking for the next right that they can take away and get involved with to tax us from. And so I don't see this working very economically well if we keep heading down this road. And so what am I supposed to be leaving my kids? I'm supposed to be leaving my kids the opportunity for prosperity, and that's not going to happen under the present direction we're headed. And if it's my kids, it's everybody else's kids.
Talking with Dr. Robert Lowry, who seeks the U.S. House seat, U.S. House of Representatives seat from the 23rd District of Texas. Give us your website, first of all, Doctor.
It's votelowry.com, and it's Lowry, votelowry.com.
votelowry.com. And before we wrap this up, I want to do a little lightning round. I'm just going to go down a list of a couple of things, and you just tell me, did you support it or do you support it in the future? In other words, some of the stuff will be things that people passed the last few years. or in the future would you? Just to give people an idea about you. And if you want to comment a little bit, you can. Term limits, we already said you support those, and you're going to try to do something about that right away. A flat or a fair tax? Do you support that one of those?
I actually would go for a modification of the fair tax. I don't know why it's still languishing up there for so long. If we put so many supposed true conservatives up there, it should have come out of committee and got voted on by now.
A balanced budget amendment, assuming that it's written properly where they can't just raise taxes.
That's right. I saw in Mark Levin's book about a balanced budget amendment, but he still gives them an out, and I wouldn't give anybody an out. We ought to be able to come up with a balanced budget or a budget period and then say, okay, this is the taxes we need, and that's it.
It's pretty simple. Most of us run our house that way. What about TARP back in the day, the Troubled Asset Relief Program, or any of the auto and bank bailouts? Did you support any of those?
That whole thing was just a giveaway to the wrong people, and it shouldn't have happened whatsoever.
What about Common Core?
My belief is Common Core is pushing the issue that we're talking about the ceiling, and we've got to get the foundation right. It shouldn't even really be the state running it the way that they're doing. Local people should run their schools and however they want to run it. The state shouldn't have such authority, and certainly the federal government shouldn't be involved at all.
Well, Dr. Lowry, I really appreciate you coming on here. Hopefully this will do you some good. We'll put you on the map there so some people can go and vet you. They can do the research. They can go to votelowry.com, Vote Lowry, Lowry. And, I'm sorry?
Lowry.
R-Y. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Lowry, good. Vote Lowry, Lowry.com, and check it out. If they like you, maybe they can do some campaigning for you. They can send you $10.